Hey, Em.
Hey.
I have heard so many comments about North Carolina Supreme Court justices and the cases they hear.
Yeah.
Now, why would I even really care? Is there any way they can affect my personal life?
Yeah, they are actually extremely important. So let's look at the structure of the North Carolina Supreme Court, the election of the justices, and a few of the topics and cases that the court has recently decided. Maybe this will help you understand just how important they really are.
Well, that sounds great, and I'm ready to learn more. Let's get to it.
Yes. So, just to set the scene, state Supreme Court decisions can profoundly affect your personal life, your personal rights, your voting district, your tax money that is spent on public schools, charter schools, or private schools, juvenile protections, and checks and balances. But to understand how, let's first look at the structure of the North Carolina Supreme Court.
The North Carolina Supreme Court is different from the trial courts you see on your media platforms. The highest court is the North Carolina Supreme Court. It is only an appeals court, and that means that the 7 judges, called justices, can only hear cases on appeal and that apply to North Carolina law.
Okay, but the final decisions are made by a majority vote, meaning that at least 4 of the justices must agree on the majority decision.
Yep. Another very interesting difference is the North Carolina Supreme Court justices, they do not determine guilty or not guilty, like the trial courts. The Supreme Court justices simply determine if North Carolina law was correctly applied. See the chart at the end of the video.
But that's still very different from the courts that we see on all forms of media. So my question is, how do the justices get their jobs? Am I involved at all?
I love that question.
Great.
Now, unlike the U.S. Supreme Court, where the justices are nominated by the president and approved by the Senate, in North Carolina, the 7 justices are elected by us. We, the people, have the power to choose who makes these decisions.
Yes, we do. But an interesting fact is that not all states allow such power to their voters.
Only 13 states, including North Carolina, list the judges on a ballot in a partisan election. That means the judge and the party are both on the ballot. There are actually lots of different ways to elect state judges. See the link at the end of the video.
Wow. So North Carolina gives voters tremendous power in our state government. The voters are trusted to pay attention and to cast informed votes. And we can change the justices every 8 years.
Yeah, but why do we care? What types of cases do they hear? What is the jurisdiction of the North Carolina Supreme Court?
Okay, those are all great questions. Are you interested in any of the recent cases heard and decided by the North Carolina Supreme Court? This is the second reason it's important to pay attention.
Yes. Tell me, please. I'm interested.
So here's a few examples.
Okay.
The checks and balances of the executive and legislative branches, how much of our tax money the public schools, charter schools, or private schools should receive, hospital billing, juvenile rights cases, LGBTQAI cases, our voting districts, final review for persons who receive the death sentence, employees injured on the job, or any case involving the North Carolina Constitution.
Do you know what? I've heard about several of these cases. I do remember recently the governor lost the case about closing bars during COVID. I also remember a checks and balances case. The governor sued the General Assembly over appointments to executive committees. And remember, checks and balances, major characteristic of democracy, gotta have healthy checks and balances. Another 30-year ongoing case involving $677 million and the public schools. Another case about student harassment in the public schools. There's a case about how much hospitals can bill a patient, imagine that, and a case protecting employees who've been injured on the job.
Wow. It sounds like these cases can affect each of us, our friends and families personally. The justices' decisions make a significant difference.
Yes. So get informed, research the state judges and the state justices, protect your beliefs, and vote.